Diablo 4 is about to get its Season 4 launch. I'll have all the details around Season 4, as well as some of the new information coming out recently, as well as, of course, those launch times and dates. We have a special anniversary that just happened as well, and even some additional changes from PTR to live. We got a ton to talk about. What's up, world? It's Utopia back in with another video. Today we're checking out all things Diablo 4. Okay, so let's just jump right into it with those launch times and obviously the date that it's releasing, which if you didn't know, Diablo Season 4 will be coming out on May 14th, which is happening at 10 a.m. PDT or 1 p.m. EST, as well as 12 p.m. CST. Again, all the times are here if you're in any other time zone, including all the way up to even Beijing, which of course, if you are in those Asian regions or even in Australia, that will be May 15th for you. I'll leave a link down to this post as well as a time converter so you can go over all those times as well as you do need to time conversion. Although we have seen some seasons get delayed, some have been on time, but others have been delayed. I will try to update you guys if there is any delays there, or on May 14th, I might even make an additional video to go over that if we do get any further updates with that. We also had a big anniversary today, or at least if you played back then. So if you guys remember last year on May 12th through the 14th, we did actually have the Server Slam. So it has been a whole year since the Server Slam, so if you've been playing since then, it's been quite a while. However, of course, it's not just the Server Slam anniversary, it is the Cry of a Shava mount trophy. I have been asked in some videos where I got that mount trophy on my actual mount, which is from that May 12th through 14th Server Slam, where you had to reach level 20 and battle the world boss Ashava. Upon downing the boss, you did actually receive this trophy on the live version of the game. So it is that 1 year anniversary. If you did end up getting that trophy, it is fairly rare. I don't see it very often, but I know that everybody that did get it basically does use it, as there really isn't a lot of other trophies to use. I've used it every single season, and if I do have footage of my mount during the build guides, you will see it on there. Now, before jumping into those changes with Season 4 and kind of all the details there and the nitty-gritty, we did have this article here where Diablo 4 lead says obvious bad ideas used to fall through the cracks because the devs didn't fully realize doing this 2,000 times is actually terrible. Obviously, we've had those ups and downs with Diablo so far. Season 2, I had a lot of fun in, and of course the original release. I do think that Season 3 felt a little lackluster, so I am hoping for a bigger Season 4 patch since they've had more time. Which, yeah, there is a lot of stuff coming with Season 4. There's a ton of changes there. Of course, we have the new crafting system as well as masterworking and a few others. We had affixes get completely simplified in the description with more straightforward effects. Tempering and masterworking let the blacksmith customize, swap, and improve your affixes using the new temporal manual and the crafting items. Also, they did make it even easier to level from 1 to 100. So people should be getting that a lot quicker. The changes for that lead as follows. For World Tier 1, the XP does actually remain unchanged. So now it does seem like World Tier 2, 3, and 4 will significantly improve that leveling experience, especially at the beginning. World Tier 2 had its XP boosted from 20 to 50%. So now World Tier 2 does seem like the play at the very start instead of just sitting in World Tier 1 unless you are maybe on a hardcore character or feel more comfortable in World Tier 1. World Tier 3 had its XP increase from 100% to 150%, and World Tier 4 had that same increase, or at least the increased percentage, from 200% to 250%. And Glyphs also did receive a 25% XP boost, so Nightmare Dungeons should be even more fun or more lucrative in that sense, and you shouldn't feel the need to repeat those over and over again, or at least as much. You'll get a 25% increase there. And before we jump into further details, Rax did drop his Season 4 tier list. Obviously, play whatever feels most comfortable to you, but this is for that leveling stuff. So we do have all classes here: Rogue, Druid, Sorc, Barb, and even Necro. Again, for leveling speed, Necro still seems to be king here, with Sorc taking number 2. Although Sorc does do well in the speed category, so we'll have to see on how well that plays out. Now, he did also leave up those historical rankings, and that includes for launch Season 1, 2, 3, and even now 4. It does seem like Barb will take the overall top spot on the all-time, with Sorc, Druid, Necro, and Rogue following in that set. Again, obviously take the tier list with a grain of salt, as it's really just what you want to play, but this is just there if you do want to see those overall rankings. And again, these might be different for every other individual, or you might even think that they're different overall. Still is a good measurement overall for everything. I will obviously still be playing Sorc this season, so I'll be doing more build guides for that. Although I might jump over to Necro and a few others, including Rogue. So if you are looking for build guides on Sorcerer, just know to check out the channel, as I will have a ton up throughout the season, including level 50 all the way to 100 and Endgame. Now, of course, PTR did drop, and we have a lot of details there with that. We do have some changes from PTR that I will cover eventually. Some of the big ones here are under itemization, where they reduced the number of affixes now down to 3, where you will actually have to do some tempering crafting to get number 4, but you can also add a 5th one there. And then rare items will only now have 2 affixes. There's a much smaller pool of more potent affixes overall, and more relevant ones that pertain to each skill rank. A massive one here is that in World Tier 3, only sacred items will drop, and in World Tier 4, only ancestral items will drop. So whenever you see a yellow on the ground, it will only be that rank, and you won't have to delve through it in your inventory. Some of the brand new affixes that we're getting this season are resource per second, resource on down, lucky hit, which applies vulnerability, life per hit, which is a pretty good one and will be fairly unique, especially with classes like rogues that hit very fast. And then, of course, now we do have that basic skill ranks. Another massive one here is that legendary items dropped from level 95 plus will always be item level 925. So you want to dig through your inventory and find which item level you want to keep. They're always going to be at 925, which is that max level item power. You also can encounter some uniques even in World Tier 1 and Tier 2, and all uniques will drop in World Tier 3. Uber uniques will start dropping from level 55, and again, those will also drop at 925. Of course, we do have the new crafting system, which is tempering, which allows you to get those 2 new affixes on that legendary to get you to 5, or even further, once you get late game, you can do masterworking. This will allow you to upgrade things 12 ranks, and every 4 ranks, a single affix is massively upgraded. However, with masterworking, there was some changes from PTR to live. Before, this did have somewhat of an RNG system akin to Lost Ark. However, now all of the ranks will have a 100% success rate. Rank 5 used to have a 70% success rate, rank 9 used to have 30%, and rank 12 used to have 20%. However, now they will have a 100% success rate, although you will have to spend more materials and it will cost significantly more. Which again, it does seem that they significantly increase the amount of materials required to get to each rank. However, that does give you that 100% success rate, so you're not worried about an RNG mechanic that already further on the RNG. You will just get that rank once you apply it. Now, Helltides are getting that anew accursed rituals. It's similar to the Season 3 rituals that we had at those different events. We also got another brand new endgame mechanic called the Pit of Artificers. Upon entering World Tier 4, you'll receive a priority quest to complete a Tier 46 Nightmare Dungeon. When you fully complete this, you'll collect rune shards during the endgame activities and collect those rune shards to ultimately activate the obelisk in the Sirigar. That will send you into this pit where you need to slay enough monsters before the 10-minute timer runs out. The first time will be a 30-second removal, the second time will be a 60-second removal, and then subsequent ones after that will be 90 seconds. Now, if you do beat that timer, you'll be taken to the boss arena, and if you do down that boss in a certain time period, that will grant you some masterworking materials. Where downing it within 4 to 6 minutes will grant you some additional materials there and a tier unlock, and with 6 minutes or more to spare, you'll get 2 additional tier unlocks. This pit will have hundreds of tiers of difficulties, and don't worry, if the mastery timer does expire before you finish running through the pit, you'll still receive loot but won't receive any masterworking materials. And you could do this with up to 4 players. With the person that does open the pit, they will receive the lion's share of the materials, and the person that opens it will be the only one that will receive materials for summoning Tormented Echoes. Now again, there might be some changes to live, but this should be concrete for everything so far. Again, I'll be covering a lot of Diablo during Season 4. However, that should about cover for today's video. If you'd like and subscribe, and to the next one. Deuces.